Good morning. Good morning. It's Saturday morning, and we're back. I am live from the 209, and I have David
I'm
McKnight.
live from the 801.
Let's go.
That's right.
So, how's everybody doing this morning? David, how are you doing this morning? We had a pretty good show last night. If anybody didn't get to check out the Niner Faithful Radio, they did a jersey giveaway, and Miss Dawn Dotson, she was the one who was the lucky winner, if I'm correct. And it's just already suiting. She had a birthday the other day, and hey, what better way, right, to get a jersey, like close to your birthday, right? So, how you doing, David?
I'm doing good, buddy. Like, it claims it was going to snow a foot, and so far I've seen an inch. So hopefully it stays like this and the weatherman was wrong, because I sure don't feel like messing with a foot of snow. Mm-mm.
Well, we don't have a lot of people in the chat right now, David, but I would like to welcome everybody that's here. And, our good friend right here, Bebop Jones. Good morning. Good morning. And really appreciate you coming through. And then my buddy right here, my brother, Sir Felix the cat. And we'll leave it like that. But this is my buddy from high school, and he's a Packer buddy. He is a Packer fan, and yeah, he's a fraternity brother, and yeah, man, really appreciate you coming through. We got Dion from Niner Gang Podcast. Great to see you, Dion. Okay, and we got meteorologist is the best job. It truly is. I mean, like to be able to tell the weather, and you stand up there, you get to smile and stuff. I mean, everybody loves the weather, man, right? You seen the movie, right, David?
Yes, yeah, but the truth is, a good meteorologist is right 50% of the time.
At least.
So you don't have to be very accurate to be a good weatherman, right? Right.
It's all about the hair. It's all about the hair. And folks, if you know, it's just about that, right? So we'll keep the lid on it today. But David,
have you ever seen like a news broadcast in Mexico?
I have, but I didn't pay attention to the males, the men. I didn't pay attention long enough. And then I had to turn the TV. If you get my drift, I didn't feel comfortable. My wife came in the room, and I'm like, I don't need to be watching this right now. But they are a lot of, we'll just say very vibrant. Is that the right word? Very, yeah, yep. So I was thinking, there's a lot of ways to watch football, right? And as technology is getting more advanced and just things are happening, you can now watch it on your phone. You can watch it on a plane. You can watch it on a boat in the middle of a lake. It's just one of those things. It's really, truly beautiful. But because technology is growing, it is also making the world a smaller place, right? Because now, again, I'm in the 209, you're in the 801, and then we're able to talk to each other really easy this morning because of, hey, technology. So because it's that easy and you can do things with people all over the world now, there's also a lot of different ways to enjoy your entertainment or have entertainment. But entertainment isn't necessarily free. And I think it's a little bit, it's going in a different direction now, because now that there's enough people that like a certain item, a certain subject, a certain topic. At first, it was free, but now that there's enough noise, now they want to start making money off of it. And it's not a little bit of money. Now they're really going for everything, right? They're reaching down and grabbing your last nickels, everything. I mean, the lint in your pocket is being pulled out. What I'm getting at is David, how many different ways can you watch? You have cable, you have the internet, you have the radio. The radio isn't watching, but it's listening, right? And then you still have your newspaper, and you got updates. Well, that's still internet, but still. So there's different ways of being able to watch a football game or a baseball game, a concert. There just truly is. So a long time ago, they went from having football just on Sundays to having footballs on Sunday nights, and on Monday nights. And then they took the Monday night game from regular television and put it on ESPN. That was when my family, we went and bought cable. Never had cable in the house prior to that. And from there, the Monday night football game was ESPN, and slowly there was a new network that came out, NFL Network. And it's still out there. And shout out to Rich Eisen. If you guys ever see that guy in the suit and the tie, he's the one running, doing the St. Jude thing. And he does. He runs the 40-yard dash every year for St. Jude's at the NFL Combine. And I thought this was a really cool program because when it first started, there was like nothing on television. Well, for me, like for football, you have a Around the Horn or something like that. And if you watch ESPN long enough, you'll just see it repeating itself. There's only so many shows on it at the time. So then this NFL Network comes on, and they were showing these guys running up and down the field in this, in a stadium at the NFL Combine. And it was cool because you started getting to hear different players from colleges and, this scouting report and stuff. And if you're into it, something to listen to. And I was into it. I was younger, and I liked listening to as much football stuff as possible. So then they went from there to where we're at right now. And we have Peacock, we have Amazon Prime, we have NFL Plus, we still have ESPN. And David, what I'm getting at is when you have a Super Bowl, there's two teams that go to the Super Bowl, and there's two shirts. Well, there's four shirts that's made, right? There's the Super Bowl champion, and then like the Super Bowl competition, like that, the game, right? The competitors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look around, you can find the winners to that Super Bowl from both teams. What happens to the losing team's box of T-shirts? They go to Africa. They go to Zimbabwe. They go to Cancun. Wherever, right? They go somewhere to some place in the world where they are giving away. They're giving away, and kids wear the T-shirts, and whatever, right? It's okay, but the idea is to get as many people to watch the game as possible, and you're offering it to them in a free environment, right? Anybody can just plug in their television, turn on the TV. If you got antenna, you can stream the football, stream the NFL. No, it's not streaming; it's watching it, airing it, right? Because they're broadcasting it for free. They want the Super Bowl to be so big that people around the world get involved. How do you feel, David? Do you think the way that they are going right now is getting out of control? I mean, would it be a little bit easier? Isn't it a little bit smarter if they said, okay, we're going to make one broadcasting company. We're going to make one network for the NFL. I think they kind of did that already. But by, again, giving ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, all these different places an opportunity to stream a game, it's about money. And then when you're looking at players and you're playing a quarterback, bare minimum, and he's got your team going to the playoffs, and then you're playing another quarterback, all the money, almost enough money to buy the moon, and they're not even getting their team into the playoffs. They're not even starting for their team. Somewhere in the season, they either got benched or hurt, but they got this massive contract, and it's not just quarterbacks. So how can the NFL justify making all this money and asking for all these different streaming services when it originally was a free game for everyone to see? David, I'm a little hot on this. I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts? I think we're getting out of control.
Well, I come from an age. I started watching football when it was just broadcast on TV on the regular networks, and it evolved. The Sunday night game, the Monday night game. In 1994, NFL Sunday Ticket came out, and it was specific to one service. It was a satellite dish, folks, that I'm not naming them because they're no. Well, I can name it. Not sponsored on YouTube. They're not our sponsor. DirecTV, 1994. They were the first ones with NFL Sunday Ticket. And it progressed. The NFL Network came out. And, that was fine. but you didn't have to have it to watch games, right? Then all of a sudden, here comes the Thursday night game. And at first it was broadcast regular television, but then they switched it. Oh, we want everybody to have our our NFL channel, which again, YouTube, none of this is sponsored. None of these guys. And so we're not going to show it to everybody. It's like, this is actually hurting their ratings, right? Because not everyone can afford it. Not everyone can have it. When they switched the Monday night game to ESPN, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because at that point, I had turned off ESPN. Shout out to Brett Favre and all the speculation about him coming out of retirement. I was sick of hearing about it.
Right.
Nice. And I was literally watching an MLB show, and all of a sudden they out of left field, Brett Favre's coming out of retirement. They start talking about. I'm like, dude, I can't even watch the baseball show without these guys talking about this guy. This is freaking ridiculous, So that's when I cut ESPN off. I literally called my cable service and said, I'm downgrading my cable. I do not ever want to see ESPN again. I literally haven't tuned in to ESPN since the late 2000s.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of tuned out. They started having like I was saying, similar shows every day. You'd watch you could watch ESPN for 2 hours, and then they'd have like another little clip or something, and then a couple just right after that, it would be back into that time swoop, that loop, where they're saying the same stuff all over and over, and it was like, oh. It was nice because you got more information than the regular, local news or the late night news. I remember watching the late night news and waiting until the end of the news broadcast, because they always put sports at the end. And then I'd listen to it, try to hear something about the 49ers, and they'd have like a small little clip for like 20 seconds. So, being able to listen to ESPN and maybe getting 40 seconds was nice, but when you got 40 seconds and it was the same thing multiple times during the daytime, it made you feel like, man, there's nothing else on this. So when NFL did go to Monday Night Football, it was nice for their network, but it made a lot of families that maybe not everybody is out there super wealthy. And again, this is football, right? So what does football do for people? It makes people dream. It makes people believe like, hey, I can go and run and catch a football, or I could throw a football, and I have the opportunity to make millions of dollars and get my family out of the situation I'm in. I have the opportunity to better myself, and all I have to do is believe in myself and train and work hard, right? There's multiple jobs that you can work hard and train and believe in yourself, but football, sports, a lot of sports give you that opportunity, to give you that ability to just make so much more money and quicker and retire faster. So when you are allowing multiple people to see something for free, they are included. They're not being pushed away. They're not feeling like this is too expensive. I can't join because I can't get involved. And when I can't get involved, I don't really care anymore, right? At a certain point, people are going to get excited about. But David, what kind of happened with boxing?
Pay-per-view. This happened when I was young. I don't even remember what year, but there used to be boxing matches live on standard television. And now all of a sudden it's like pay-per-view. If you want to see these guys, Mike Tyson knock someone out in 30 seconds, you have to pay for it. The reason I said that is there was a fight. I don't remember who he was going up against. It was so long ago. And I mean, like, I think well over 15 million people, so it was a crazy number paid for the pay-per-view. Well, a crazy number back then, folks. Nowadays, it's not. And then all of a sudden, instead of it going 12 rounds, it went one round and it was very uneventful. There was such an uproar about that, right? So many people were pissed because it's like, how much did I pay to see this guy knock this dude out in 30 seconds? Right? Dang, the chat's popping.
Yeah, chat is popping. The chat is popping. We got Gammon in here. We got my Uncle Greg in here. We got Raphael in here. John J, Steve-O, Bebop. You know, you guys are great. Paul Hope, thank you so much for coming. So, and we got Niner Tiger in here. Wow, look out. Sugar, no, I'm sorry. I can't pronounce your name very well. Sugar, no. Only watch games and post games on ESPN. I watch more ESPN Plus. Yeah, I mean, like, that's another streaming service, and it's truly getting ridiculous. If they was to bring all the channels together and say, okay, you know, make a network or something like that, and say, okay, you bought into this, so we're going to put your logo down below, and they could make it where they're dual streaming it or something like that. Because I understand Netflix and some of these other, you know, streaming services, HBO Max and Disney Plus, they have movies on them, they have channels and television, and you know, they have different things on it that people want to watch. So if you say, okay, you can stream this game and you can stream this game, I think it would be a little bit more beneficial for everybody. But to say, no, only the rights are going to go to this, and I'm sorry, you know, you got to pay or you can't play. Well, I know that's reality, and that's sad. You know, sometimes that is what happens. But again, we're going from football, America's sport, right? America's pastime, right? You know, baseball kind of died. We can all admit it. Basketball, the only time people watch basketball is when football's not on, right? And that's only like half of the football people, because half of the football people don't care anything about basketball. And so again, you need to make this where it's going to be acceptable for everybody, and making it where you can watch a game on your phone, but you can't watch it live because you're not out of the country. Again, you are making people get all these different streaming services, and at the end of the day, you're paying more than cable is. At cable, it was just football on ESPN, David, on the basic broadcasting channels, and then it was football on NFL Plus, you know, NFL Network, and that was the Thursday night game. And Thursday night games, everybody seems to hate Thursday night games. So I'm not saying get rid of football, but how much football can you take, David? I mean, throughout the week, you know, Monday night, Tuesday they're off, Wednesday they're off, Thursday here they come. Now we've seen games on Friday nights, you know, preseason. We've seen games on Saturdays, playoffs, preseasons. Sunday nights, playoffs, preseason, regular season. Monday night. Now we're gonna have a Monday night playoff game. A playoff game on Monday night. I'm glad it's Martin Luther King. I have the day off. I truly am glad, because, you know, when it's football and stuff, I don't want to really have to do too much. And I tell you what, most Monday night football games I don't get too excited for, except for the Niner games. But playoffs, you know, you want to be able to watch it. You want to be able to tune in. And David, how do we go about fixing this? I mean, talk is one thing, right? You know, you have to start talking about it before people understand that there's a problem or there's a situation that maybe needs to get corrected. So do you have any solutions to this? And am I blowing it out of proportion? I mean, is it okay to have like 100 different streaming services for 32 different NFL teams?
I honestly think it's dumb. When it comes down to it, everybody should be able to watch these games. They're literally hurting their fan base by doing this, because it's like, okay, we'll give you 100 options that you can pay to watch all our games, and they still, you know, put the Sunday games on national television, right? But then, like Saturday, a couple Saturdays ago, I was trying to find the game. It's like it's on like Peacock or someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am not sponsored. I am a subscriber to NFL Plus. The premium's like $16 a month. And the only reason I did this is because a lot of times I don't get the 49er games. And with all the shows we do on YouTube, right?
Yep.
I need to watch the game and I need to see it from my perspective. Because I do see things that a lot of people don't bring up. It's like, hold on a second, I'll rewind and watch a play again because like I notice our right guard just block like nothing, and the quarterback gets sacked, or that's just an example. Like McGlinchey, that game against the Commanders where we snapped the ball, the play was going on, then he came out of his stance and he was still trying to figure out if he was blocking a mosquito. But, you remember that one, right?
Against the Broncos, I think, right? That's too funny.
But yeah, so I'm subscribed to a streaming service just so I can watch all my 49ers games. It really shouldn't be like that. If you want people to subscribe to have to watch something, make it, number one, very affordable, which $16 a month is, right?
Yep.
In my opinion. But make it so that people can say, hey, this is my team, and they get all the games live. Because if the game's out of market, which a lot of times, due to where I live, it is out of market, I have to wait for the replay to come out. And that's ridiculous. But having that stream on, like, I'm even losing track of how many services are actually streaming this. You have Peacock, you have the NFL Network, you have Amazon Prime. None of this is sponsored, YouTube. And then you got what else was there? Well, the NFL Sunday Ticket now is on YouTube. YouTube actually has this.
Yeah.
But you have to pay for YouTube TV. That's like, $70-$80 a month, which might be cheaper option than what some folks already have. Right?
Yep.
But it just, a lot of us pay for television services. We pretty much all have to pay for internet. If you don't pay for internet, something I don't, folks. I'm going to say that right now. But having access to the internet, yes, you will be able to find the game in another fashion. Like, I guarantee you there's a Facebook group out there, folks, that's live streaming the game, even though they're not supposed to. And I won't name names because I do not want them to get in trouble. But they will live stream the game. And this last season, this is actually how I watched a few of the 49ers games because they're just not in my market. It's always, no matter how much they suck, the Denver Broncos, or like I'll get the Raiders. They'll play the Cowboys game, and I don't want to see that. So having options for people it's kind of nice, but let's keep it affordable. You got to keep it affordable. Not everyone's going to be able to afford to pay for all this stuff. The NFL makes their money off ratings and advertisements. So, that's how the TV actually pays them. That's their TV contract. And if they were just doing what they were doing way back in the day, all the games are on national television, then they're going to have very high ratings. Everybody's going to be watching them. Their growth will actually be more than what it currently is because they're not restricting. Oh, well, we don't want, we're going to put this on this surface. They're restricting who can watch games.
Yeah, that's what's happening. They're restricting who can watch games. And I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose an audience because of it. Because again, not everybody is making it. And right now, the country is still recovering from COVID. It's taken a long time for a lot of people to get back into jobs and just start getting back into the swing of things. And you want to have multiple places for people to try to find games to watch. I'm not saying, don't let these other companies stream the game, but continue to broadcast it, live, on air, so people can watch it. And if you want it to be on, then people will watch it. But when you start charging people to watch it, I think you're going to lose a lot of people. I really just think it's there's there's a way for a lot of different teams and companies to make money out of this. But I think continuing to allow, the American dream to kind of be there, allowing people to, little kids running up and wearing a football shirt, and saying that their team's the greatest. That's not going to continue to happen if you start streaming everything. We already have seen a small hit, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. Parents aren't letting their kids play football anymore, David. They're afraid of the concussions. Even coaches and former players, my kid's not going to play football. But you're a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I know. What do you mean,
Hey, if you scroll up in the chat to 1018, Steve-O said something that it's the truth. There is a way. There's always a way to find the game live.
Oh,
and, there's always a way to find the game live, folks. And that's kind of what the Facebook group is doing, and like I said, I won't mention who it is. I don't want to get them in trouble.
Yeah. So, okay. My Uncle Greg, he said, NFL Sunday Ticket. I couldn't find Steve-O's thing. It's on YouTube, but you can just pay for that as a standalone. It was $3.49 for the season. See, and I was confused too with the price. It was a little unclear for me because I wasn't sure if it was $3.49 a month, because we had Jason Hurley talking about it, and I didn't know everything about it. We were interested in doing the YouTube because then you have just like TV on YouTube, and you have no ads. But I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research. Maybe I have to call some people I know who know. And then he also says they went to 2 Packer games this season. It cost them over $1,500. Yeah, that's no joke. It is no joke. It's not at all funny. Games get expensive, really expensive. Playoffs should be free. At least to be able to watch on TV. There should be no reason that you have to pay for the playoffs. If you say, okay, we're going to make you pay for the regular season. Okay. I mean, but the playoffs, to get people to watch, you want everybody to watch the Super Bowl, right? And that's the next thing. They're gonna pride themselves for years on saying, the Super Bowl is one of the most biggest and watched televised events in the world, right? But now you're gonna start making people pay for that. And it's gonna end up happening like what happened with boxing, where you get like 10 or 15 people who are, trying to watch a game or, a couple minutes of something, and then it turns around and just get streamed and bootlegged, and people will still find a way to watch it. Like Steve-O did say, they'll find a way to stream it. Okay. Sold out games.
Nick put up a great comment there.
Okay, we'll get to that real quick. Sold out games is something that happened to us over here in the Bay Area. You know how far I live away from the Bay Area, David? About 60 miles. And then if the Oakland Raiders didn't sell out their game by Friday night, they went into what was called a blackout rule. Now, they still sold their game out, and if they sold it out Saturday or Sunday, that's fine. But if they didn't meet the deadline on Friday night, then the game wasn't televised on Sunday. And I don't think that was fair at all because, again, people buy tickets the next day. They buy tickets at the gate, and they go in, and come on, you hear it on television or you hear it on the radio. Oh, it's a sold-out crowd. But because you're within 60 miles of the stadium, they are smacking you because you didn't go to the game. You had the ability to go to the game, so now we're going to take your ability to watch it at home away. That's like, I'm already paying taxes for the stadium. I'm already paying for the team to be here. I go into Walmart, I see all of your memorabilia everywhere. I don't even like your team. We're talking about the Raiders. But, I don't know, dude. Okay, we'll just get to Nick's question here. The league should allow each team to have their own streaming service so fans can sign up and watch the team they love every week. They'll start their ad revenue and make it affordable to all. I agree. And still allow it to be streamed on regular broadcasting television programs for people in local areas who maybe don't have the opportunity to have like good streaming service or internet or something, like some people live in the woods, but they can get antenna, I mean, like they can get signal from their bunny ears. So, I mean, that's something to think about. We got
You'd be
Crazy G.
surprised that my friend 2 houses up, he will not do cable. He actually has bunny ears, and you'd be surprised how many HD shows are being broadcast on those things.
Yeah, very wealthy people can attend, and we're looking at that now. It's turning into the Super Bowl. Unless you are a media reporter, someone with a press pass, or you are some major company, you're not going to Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is not what it used to be. Doing the YouTube thing in the last year or so, I have met multiple people who's been to multiple Super Bowls now, and the prices just keep on getting astronomically high. It's I don't know. The last Super Bowl that I paid attention to was the Rams game, and there was a fan that sold his house to go to the Rams Super Bowl. Well, I'm glad his team won for him, because I would not sell my home. I would not sell. No, not to be able to go to a game. That's games are great. They're a lot of fun, but that's you can't do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Would I live in a tent for a while to go to the Super Bowl? I would. Depends on where, though. Like during the winter time, the mountains here are ruthless. I wouldn't do it.
I mean, maybe at a certain point in my life or something, maybe you could ask me that question, but not currently. I got 3 little ones. I don't need to be doing something like that. Now if I was, somehow, lucky enough to win tickets, that's different, but to sell my home to go to the game, I'm not going to say my fanhood is, different or is not strong like that other man's, but, yeah, some people, they can bet their paycheck. I can't bet my paycheck. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'll do a gentleman's bet. We'll just keep it, polite and respectable like that. All right, so we got one more comment. Most people that go to the Super Bowl are not even fans of either team, just wealthy spectators. Boom, boom. Thank you. It's starting to become an event, like Hollywood, like everybody show up to the red carpet kind of thing. It's not even about watching the game. It's about talking to Taylor Swift. Hey, there she is, right? It's like, so to, again, not have real fans at the stadium, to have really a neutral crowd at the stadium doesn't, I don't think, really give you a true Super Bowl or a true game atmosphere. I think it really goes off of that crowd, again, from the TV. And if you're making the TV fans jump different circles and hoops and loops to get to view the game, you're going to lose people. And at the end of the day, the Super Bowl is supposed to be one of the biggest barbecues, family get-togethers, anticipated all year. Even people who don't watch football always get excited. Oh, I got invited to a Super Bowl party. Or some people, they go and do their own thing and they hate football. Okay. But I know when I throw a Super Bowl party, I usually have 6 to 10 people there that don't like football because they showed up with somebody who does like football, so it's just one of those things.
Hey, I got some disappointing news for you, buddy.
Okay.
So here I am looking at the first playoff game today, folks. It's 2:30 p.m. my time. I believe it would be 1:30 your time.
Yeah, I'm an hour back.
And like I said, streaming from the 801 here, folks. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways to watch it. And at the bottom, it says blackout restrictions may apply. Access requirements may vary by streaming service. So what? You could pay for it and still not get it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm going to say that right now. So, not sponsored YouTube. We got Fubo, Fubo. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't care if I am.
No, not
But
sponsored.
it says subscription. NBC Sports. We all know that's you can subscribe to that, but they should be showing it on national television. NFL Plus, which we did talk about, folks. The Peacock. Again, we talked about them. And YouTube TV. Those are the 5 ways to watch the game. And, it's just, it's ridiculous. It's like, so even though they're putting it on national television, they're still going to be like, here, all the people that pay get, they still get to see the same thing everyone else gets. It doesn't make sense. It's like, so, I mean, all you folks that have a streaming service and watch NFL, that way, do you get cooler commercials? I'm just wondering, is there some sort of difference between the national broadcast and what they're doing? The commercials these days haven't been funny for a long time because they're scared to offend someone. It doesn't matter who, just, someone.
Shout out to Greg and Michelle. Enjoy the games. And these two go to games. They go to all kinds of sporting events. They travel across seas. They follow the Packers, and they've been to a lot of different stadiums. I would actually be curious to know if they have an idea how many stadiums they've been to, but that's about the time and the experience. Sure, you want to be able to go to a game. You want to be able to, see and smell, and it's about the atmosphere. It's about the crowd. It's the whole experience overall, right? But you also like, being able to be at home and being comfortable. And you also like to be able to, be around maybe your animals and stuff, whatever, maybe just, your neighbor wants to come over and watch the game, right? But to have all these multiple different streaming services and like Fialua, he comes in $20 for Nufu. And then John Jay says it's $70 per month for Fubo. It's cool. Just like you and I, we don't want to throw out names, but there's streaming services, there's platforms out there that you can, you could get a Kodi box, you could get a Fire Stick, you can jailbreak it, then you can watch all kinds of different things for free, which is cool. But then you got to go through your programming and you got to find, what streaming service is working. And sometimes they don't work. So you got to find a different way to do it. But there are ways to do it. But that's not the point. The point is not to stream and find it for free. The idea is, again, why is the NFL trying to profit so much off of this when it's not going to the players? It's not getting kicked back to the fans. The fans aren't getting a better experience. You just alluded to it. Are we getting better commercials? I truly don't believe we are. If you go back to, hey, shout out to the Packers and the Broncos back in like 98, 97. You remember the horse commercial? It was a beer commercial and the horses were kicking field goals.
Mm.
What about the Budweiser commercial with the frogs and stuff like that, right? I mean, like there's commercials that were funny, and maybe there are funny commercials still out there, and we're just not paying attention anymore because I don't really think I even watch commercials anymore. I think that's when I'm getting up and going and getting more nachos or going and getting, running to the restroom or something. I mean, like getting another drink or something like that. But to have multiple different places that you're streaming, and you're streaming almost, or having games almost every day of the week, the ticket prices have jumped. The players' contracts have jumped, but not everybody is making $1 million. You might have one or two players that's getting a big contract, and everybody else is getting the league minimum. David.
So Soul 684, I think it's Falua. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. And he said Nufu 20 a month, and you get all the games. That's one we didn't mention. Again, not sponsored by YouTube. See, so when it comes down to it, there are so many streaming services. It's not funny that show these games. And it really shouldn't be this way. They should be just like it was when I was growing up. You turn the TV on and, there's a good game on. You're not watching necessarily restricted to watching the team that's closest to you. They're showing the good game. Like that's how I got to be a 49ers fan. I was a kid sitting home on a Sunday. I turned the TV on. There's the 49ers playing. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Dwight Clark, Roger Craig, my favorite player, Ronnie Lott. All these guys. It's I started off watching them play, and then I was watching other games going, these teams aren't as good as that 49ers team. When I was a kid, that's how I became a 49ers fan, as it was on national television. And now, yes, they still have the Sunday games on national television, but the Monday game is, ESPN. I still, the day they did that, I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed because it's like you're taking your national audience away. Now everyone's going to have to find a way to get ESPN. Like people that don't have cable are going to have to get cable to get ESPN, and it's ridiculous. You want ad revenue? Ad revenue goes up depending on how many people are watching, right? Ratings. So you want ratings? You want ratings? Put it on national television so everyone can watch it.
Yep. Why did Pokemon Go get to become such a sensation and everybody just take off with it? Because it was free. It was free for people to download on their phones, and they could walk around, and they were playing some game that most of these people who were playing the game 20 years ago was watching the TV show. So you captivate an audience because you give them something that is free. And that's why people go out and buy the t-shirts for their little kid. That's why they go out and they buy, the memorabilia and stuff like that, because they want to support their team. And that's the way they know they can support their team, by buying the merchandise, by, eventually going to the game and showing up. And, again, you want people to go to the game and have fun. You take away the prices, and you turn them down. There's stadiums out there that give you a free refill for soda. There's stadiums out there that make it a fan-friendly experience for families. There are people out there and organizations and companies that aren't trying to, make $1 million off of your one-time event, your one-time coming to a game. We want you to come back. We come back, and we want you to come back and feel good about coming again. So, hopefully, Roger Goodell, hopefully you're listening. Hopefully, you think about this, because, having, again, multiple platforms to stream on, and you're starting to cut the people out that really, truly love you, really, truly love the game, you're killing dreams. Is that fair to say, David?
Yes, that's fair to say. There are kids of, families that don't have the means to pay for all these services, and they're not going to get to see their team play here and there. It could be a good game, a meaningful game, like us versus the Eagles. That was a meaningful game, and it got broadcast on national television, so everyone got to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not all the games are like that, and there are a lot of people that want to see football games that can't. So NFL, it's like you got to stop this. One of these days it's going to all boil down to they're not going to be on national television. You're going to have to pay one of these services so the nonprofit organization that the NFL is can get their money.
Well, David, I think this has been a great conversation. I think we could really go on, and we could have multiple people come on and give their aspects, their perspectives. But I think it's probably time to talk a little bit about the playoffs. And we've already given our kind of playoff predictions, and, hopefully, the games that we predict come true or whatnot. But really, I think everybody can really, really agree. The only two teams that matter this weekend are the Niners and the Packers. Because if the Packers beat the Cowboys, then we're playing next week, right? And
yes,
I would love to see it. I don't think I'm the only one who would love to see it. The Packers are an upcoming team, a lot of energy. That would be a really good game to see the Niners play against because one, we haven't played them yet. So I'm looking forward to maybe possibly seeing a matchup in the playoffs. Maybe the Niners Packers, maybe the Niners and Detroit, teams that we haven't played, because when you play a team once already and you beat them really bad, sometimes that gives them that motivation, that gives them that little extra, we're going to put in extra work. We're going to do extra credit here and try to come on top. And sometimes you beat a team twice. Sometimes you don't. I don't necessarily want to have to worry about that situation. I want it to be like, hey, the Niners are taking care of one game at a time, right? Well, the game in front of us, maybe it's the Packers. And I got a good feeling it could happen. I think the Packers go into Dallas. I think Dallas loses. I think Trey Lance gets traded to another team next year. I think the Cowboys lose their coach and they'll lose their defensive coordinator. I think Dan Quinn gets hired by the Seahawks and McCarthy's out as the Cowboys coach. It could very well be Jim Harbaugh going down there to Dallas. How do you feel about that?
That would be dangerous. Jim Harbaugh, a Cowboy, that would be dangerous. I'm not going to lie.
He would be over.
Hey, man, Big City Man made a bold prediction. I'm calling it now. Texans versus Niners in the Super Bowl. Niners blowout win. CMC Super Bowl MVP. That's a bold prediction. Soul says he's sticking with his prediction. Niners and Dolphins. Which all this could happen at this point, right? And of course, Niners are the blowout win.
Well, it is a 49er chat room, so we're going to probably get a lot of people that say Niners. But, hey, I mean, can you really argue too much? I mean, unless something really, truly bad happens, the Niners, one game at a time. That's right. We can get there.
One game at a time.
But all you have to do is get in. If you get in, right? I think we were the 7th seed when we played against the Rams, and we went all the way to the NFC Championship game. Came that close, that third game. That third game cost us. Greg, Packers and Texans. Oh boy. I don't know. CJ Stroud, he's got to get past the Browns. He's got to get past the Ravens. I think that's a lot. And the Bills still are going to make a stand too. It's interesting, David, the Chiefs and Miami Dolphin game is going to be it's not the coldest game, but it's going to be a very, very cold game in playoff history. You think that's going to help either team? I think it's not going to help the Dolphins. I think it's going to benefit the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to be home field, and right now I think the Chiefs have a better running game. What do you think?
I think the Chiefs have a better defense.
Yeah,
and their running game is on point. Their passing game isn't. They lead the league in drops.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Quit taking your eyes off the ball, looking up in the crowd in the game box. I mean, that is something to look at, but you should be focused on the game at hand, right? Not the game at the end, right? Or the play at the end. You're playing a game now. You can be playing that later. You guys know what I'm getting at.
Yes.
There's definitely been some kind of distraction there, huh?
Personally, I do want to see that. I picked the Texans. I want to see them win a playoff game. Because when it comes to Coach of the Year, if you don't give it to DeMeco Ryans, y'all should be in handcuffs behind bars. Okay.
I think the Ravens shouldn't be counted out either. I think the Ravens, they just have to win one playoff game, and all the doubt will go away, right? Because Lamar's 1-4 in the playoffs, 1-4 or 1-5, something like that.
I think he's 1-3.
1-3.
I think he's 1-3.
So, dude, you get over that little hump right there, then I think the sky's the limit. If the Ravens get into the championship game, I don't see a lot of teams in the AFC right now being able to beat them. I don't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe the Steelers, huh? We'll see.
Well, hey, we all saw what the Rams did to the Ravens. They took them to overtime.
Yeah.
running the living crap out of the ball right at Clowney and Van Noy. They're good pass rushers, but they can be ran on. That's what the Rams showed everyone. So, once you hit the playoffs, when everyone's watching tape on the team they're going to play, they're going to look at those games and see what they did, and they're going to be like, So we'll see what happens. Just like they're going to be, everyone we're going to play is going to watch our losses and go, what did that team do? And they're going to go, oh, the Niners imploded. We just got to, get our pass rushers in the passing lanes and get their hands up. It's kind of, don't worry. Kyle has the film too. He'll watch it. I'm sure adjustments will be made.
I most strongly agree there's going to be adjustments. And that's why I'm not afraid to see maybe like the Ravens again, or even the Rams again, because we did make adjustments in the first part of the season when they were running with their starters, and we were able to, hold down the victory, maintain and prevail. And then with this game against the Ravens, sure, they blew us out pretty bad. But if you take a couple of those tip passes away, 3 out of those 4 interceptions were tip passes. You take the jump interception in the beginning of the game that I believe was also a tip pass that went to Debo. You take that play away and you give us a touchdown right there. The whole game changes. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, ifs and miffs. If it had a wish, then she wouldn't be here, right? But that's the truth of it. The Niners were moving the ball well against the Ravens defense, even though they were blitzing us on the corners instead of up the middle, and they were taking out the middle of the field. The Niners were cooking. We did have success with Ayuk. Even at the end of the game, we had success with Sam Darnold. Yes. And then that's a good point too. Sam Darnold come in and started throwing the ball to George Kittle. He also got involved. And then even at the end, we had other wide receivers that stepped up. They were making plays. It wasn't because the Ravens were playing prevent or, letting us have it. No, the Ravens were trying to stop us. We came very close at the end. We were like 2 scores away at the end, and it was we had a shot with 4 minutes left to go in the game. So when there's a shot, I'm always going to believe in the Niners. I'm not going to count them out. It's not happening. So I would like to see the rematch of the Niners and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And folks, thank you all for coming. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Follow David as well. We'll be back tomorrow streaming on both channels. But real quick, I want to shout everybody out. Greg says, resting the players. Sully says, advantage Dolphins, Miami's players. Greg says, it would be hilarious to see Stafford beat his old team. I think it would be funny to see Golf beat his old team. And I would think I would like to see anybody goes to the game, or any pictures, anybody ever hearing this podcast, if you can find somebody that goes to the game with a Jared Goff Rams jersey, please take a picture. Please take a picture, because there are Los Angeles Golf fans out there, and their quarterback is now playing in Detroit, but they still like him. I know those jerseys are out there. So check it out. And then we got CJ Stroud's going to take out 3 Giants, Browns, Ravens, Chiefs. He will be cooked after that. Niners win. Yeah. Wow. CJ gets to the championship. More power to him. A rookie making it, and D'Amico doing it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And folks, before we leave, remember, pay attention to colors. Colors and math. It all matters.
Ooh, purple and red, huh?
That's right, folks. And if you pay attention, you go back and you look at all those Super Bowl colors and stuff like that, it matters. Why did they put the colors on the logo before the 2 teams are there? This doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you already have the 2 teams, the story's already written before it's been read. Guys, I know you got to read the story to get to the finish line, but why are you putting the colors again on the logo and then displaying the logo? Let's watch that one more time, folks. One more time. Please look at the beginning of the Super Bowls. Notice the colors of the teams that made it to the Super Bowl. And then please look at the last Super Bowl. Orange and blue, green and red, purple and red, Wait, is that the Niners and the Ravens? I don't know, guys.
Could it be like the Vikings and who has red in the AFC? What, the Texans?
Texans,
Texans
Chiefs.
have some.
Yep,
Chiefs,
Texans.
yeah.
Chiefs. So then, who's going to go into the playoffs in the NFC with a purple team? The only purple team would be the Vikings, and they're not in there. I mean, I guess if you take brown and red, the Buccaneers, and you mix it together, you might get something that's close to purple. Again, finger paints, everybody, finger paints, and that's just not. But folks, thank you so much for coming. We had a lot of fun. Me and David, we get together a lot, so please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and come on back. And if you get a chance to see Roger Goodell, tell him about the show and ask him what he's going to do to save football. And with that, folks, we're out of here. Have a great day. Enjoy the playoffs, and we'll see you tomorrow.